On June 16, 1963, history was made as Valentina Tereshkova soared into space aboard Vostok 6, becoming the first woman ever to orbit Earth. But beyond the triumph remains the fact that she was not only the first woman in space, but she would be the only woman to fly in space for about 19 years. This daring solo flight revealed a lot about the limits of human endurance and the role of women in the early space race. As we revisit the story of Vostok 6, we'll uncover not only the groundbreaking achievements but other facts about Tereshkova's mission. She also still remains the only woman to fly a solo mission in space, an important distinction not likely to change anytime soon. Vostok 6 carried Valentina Tereshkova, the first woman in space, into low Earth orbit. Her mission lasted nearly 3 days, during which she orbited the planet 48 times. Vostok 6 was part of a dual-flight mission alongside Vostok 5, which launched just 2 days earlier with cosmonaut Valery Bykovsky aboard. The spacecraft itself was a spherical descent module with basic life support and manual controls. It was launched atop the Vostok K rocket, a modified R-7 intercontinental ballistic missile. This powerful booster provided the thrust needed to break Earth's gravity and place Tereshkova into orbit. Vostok 6 was a groundbreaking Soviet space mission launched on June 16, 1963, carrying Valentina Tereshkova, the first woman ever to fly in space. Her call sign was Chaika, meaning seagull. The mission lasted nearly 3 days, during which she orbited the Earth 48 times, conducting experiments and maintaining communication with ground control and Vostok 5, which was in orbit at the same time. Despite experiencing nausea and discomfort, Tereshkova completed the flight, becoming a symbol of Soviet space prowess. But it needs to be noted that she would be the only woman to fly in space for about 19 years and that she is still the only woman to conduct a solo spaceflight. The launch of Vostok 6 on June 16, 1963, marked one of the most historic moments in space exploration. At precisely 9:29 Moscow time, the Vostok K rocket ignited at the Baikonur Cosmodrome, carrying Valentina Tereshkova, the first woman to journey into space. The launch vehicle itself was a modified version of the R-7 intercontinental ballistic missile, engineered for spaceflight. It stood nearly 38 meters tall and used a multi-stage liquid-fueled propulsion system that had already proven reliable on previous Vostok missions. As the rocket roared to life, enormous plumes of smoke engulfed the pad while ground control closely monitored its performance. Within minutes, the booster stages separated, and the spacecraft achieved orbit, placing Tereshkova into a low Earth orbit with a perigee of about 180 kilometers and an apogee of roughly 230 kilometers. From inside the cramped capsule, Tereshkova reported feeling intense pressure during launch, but remained composed. Her calm under stress was essential, as she was conducting not only technical tasks but also serving as a propaganda symbol for Soviet innovation and gender equality. The mission was timed to coincide with Vostok 5, piloted by cosmonaut Valery Bykovsky, launched just 2 days earlier. The two spacecraft came within a few kilometers of each other, a calculated maneuver meant to demonstrate Soviet capability in coordinated orbital missions. Though they didn't dock, the proximity was symbolic, and radio communications between the two cosmonauts were broadcast publicly. However, not everything went smoothly. Tereshkova reportedly experienced nausea and struggled with operating some of the onboard systems. More critically, years later she revealed that a programming error would have sent the capsule away from Earth instead of bringing it back, a potentially fatal flaw that she reported during flight. Ground control managed to fix the problem remotely, but the incident was kept secret for decades. Despite these challenges, Vostok 6 completed 48 orbits over nearly 3 days. The launch was declared a triumph, and Tereshkova became an international icon. But behind the celebration was a mission fraught with technical risk, political pressure, and personal courage. While in space, Valentina Tereshkova conducted experiments, spoke with ground control, and orbited Earth 48 times, proving women could endure the rigors of spaceflight. Vostok 6 had several key goals, both scientific and political. The most prominent was to send the first woman into space, demonstrating the Soviet Union's commitment to gender equality and further establishing its dominance in the space race. Valentina Tereshkova was chosen not only for her skills and training but also as a symbol of Soviet progress. Another major objective was to gather biomedical data on how spaceflight affected the female body, something that had never been studied before. Her mission was timed to coincide with Vostok 5, launched 2 days earlier, allowing for the second dual spacecraft operation with crewed communication in orbit. Throughout her nearly 3-day mission, Tereshkova orbited Earth 48 times, maintained regular communication with ground control and cosmonaut Valery Bykovsky, and conducted tests related to manual spacecraft control, physical response to space conditions, and Earth observation. Though she experienced physical discomfort and nausea, her performance under pressure was viewed as a major achievement. Technically, the mission proved that extended solo spaceflight was possible for a woman. Politically, it was a resounding win for the USSR, sending a clear message to the world about Soviet capabilities in science, engineering, and social advancement. In conclusion, Vostok 6 was quite an achievement for the Soviet Union. They finished up their Vostok program by not only putting the first woman into space but also doing so along with another manned spacecraft in orbit. While she would remain the only woman to fly in space for 19 years, she opened the door to many others that have followed in the last 43 years. Today, seeing female crew members on board spacecraft is a regular occurrence, and usually a couple of women are among those continuously on board the International Space Station. Sadly, this also includes 4 women who lost their lives in the Challenger and Columbia accidents. Valentina Tereshkova's flight on board Vostok 6 paved the way for women accomplishing a lot in space, including the fact that if all goes well, the Artemis 2 mission will see the first woman to fly around the moon, and the Artemis 3 mission is expected to have the first woman to walk on the moon. However, regardless of what women accomplish in space, it will be Valentina Tereshkova who took that first giant leap.